All right, what's going on, y'all? My name is Koi. Welcome to the channel. And right now, you've tuned into the study of tarot and how we can utilize tarot for our personal development, our self-discovery, and so much more. We'll be exploring today the energy of the Empress. If you haven't checked out the other major arcanas, like if you're just tuning in, you can explore in the playlist for the major arcana studies. And you can also come to the Queen of Wands Club. This is where I'm studying with you all and wanted to get personal with you too. I have a blog called the Queen of Wands Club that really taps into personal development for entrepreneurship and how to create your damn magic. I want you to burn bright, bitch. Okay. But also, it's really utilizing your magic. And again, we're tapping into the cards. I want you during this study to throw out your study book, right? The tarot book, because we're going to tap into more of the intuition. The Empress, this actual video, the Empress is going to share a general message with us. She's going to share a love message with us, and she's going to share a career message as well for my fellow entrepreneurs or aspiring entrepreneurs. But again, if you want to join the journey along with us, at the Queen of Wands Club, definitely come on through. It's free. I do have access. I share access for those that want to be a VIP member, where you can actually get access to private meetups and discounted personal readings as well. So stick around to the end because I may talk a little bit more about that. But right now, we're going to get into this general message of the Empress. I don't know if I had this in the High Priestess, but I've been wanting to share a few things from this book that I got a few years ago, because how I got into tarot was actually years ago when I was like in 8th or 9th grade, but I stopped because of a friend and me just being confused and whatever. It just wasn't good how people or my friend really responded. But anyway, I'm here 20 something years later. But I want to share with you, I have a lot more facts that are actually at the blog, which you can click the link below. I just talk more about the numerology and the astrology that is holding the energy of the Empress. And as you can see, Venus is the astrological energy that it is formed around, right? The archetype. And the numerology holds the energy of 3. And you can read up on that to see how aligned that is for the Empress, right? But I do want to share this with you from the book. Her affirmation is, I am enough. The positive, right, is nurturing, caring, creative, bountiful, abundant, right, and so worthy and valuable of her own self. And the shadow is smothering, neediness, ignores own needs, right? People pleasing, they don't have that in there. But also, I want to say also just self-centered, actually both. We're not talking about the Emperor right now, but both of them can actually be in the shadow of really self-centered and like closed off on people. But the actions here for the Empress, right, is nurture your community, get involved in big brother, big sister programs, be an advocate or mentor for the younger generation. And why they're talking about that is because she is the nurturer, like she is the queen of all queens in the archetype of the major arcanas. And she also is about self-love, motherhood, good parenting. I really don't like that. because I'm going to scratch that out and say leadership, right? And good role model and abundant, right? Because she knows how to receive and she's very fertile, literally and what is it? Figuratively, but reversed, right? Dependent on others. That's what I was going to say. Very codependent. Fertility issues at times, figuratively and literally. It's like having a lot of creative blocks, not working her magic, not allowing not utilizing her own creativity for her greater good as well as others, when we talk about entrepreneurship, when you get to a point where you recognize your gifts, right, and you're still discovering your own purpose, you want to give back in some way, shape, or form. And creativity does not necessarily have to be like the creative arts that are more popular, right? Like in art school, writing and painting and drawing, sculpting, the performing arts, right? It's not always like that. Everybody has their own uniqueness of creativity. And of course, it comes from those type of creative arts, right? It can stem from that, but other times it can totally not be that. It can be the way that you strategically apply yourself in some way, shape, or manner, right? And through entrepreneurship, you learn how to cultivate these ideas and process your own way of creating, because creativity always has a process. And then you wind up sharing that with others and making it your living. So you're going to wind up being paid for that genius part of you. And I love to help that. Shameless plug. Click the links below. Okay. So there can be in its shadow form a lack of reliance, right? Not really owning your self-sovereignty and seeing your self-worth. When she sees her self-worth, she knows her value that she brings towards others. So therefore she has these boundaries, right? So this is more of the Rider-Waite original type of pictures, right? You can just take a look at how I guess this is wheat. I never looked at this. I don't know if this is printed a certain way. I thought she was more in like a garden, but whatever. But as you can see in the background, the water flowing, forest. She has the crown, right? She got the pillows. Like, it's everything, right? She takes care of herself. And I chose to use this card deck. Switching it up a little bit. I think you guys can see this. And I'm not going to spend too much time on Venus in the number 3. But number 3 is definitely about building, right? Community, connecting with people, divinity. Number 3, there is a reason why people have Father, Mother, God, right? What is it? The Holy Spirit, the Son, the Father, and the Holy Spirit. There's very divine nature in 3, just like the triangle. I just want to read one more thing from this book, the Empress, right? Oh, actually, we already said these. This is just some pleasure. A lot of times, that you're in your shadow, especially of the Empress archetype, is when you are trying to please others too much, opposed to yourself, or you are the opposite, just loathing and beating yourself up, right? Where is the love? Where is the self-love? Feminine leadership, divine femininity too. That is definitely the Empress. Marriage, question mark. Passion and sensuality. So let's just put this aside and let's get into the general message with what the Empress has to share with us. Okay, let's get it. let's see what we have. So for the chakra, nice. We have the crown chakra. Actually, this is the third eye chakra in my card deck. My chakra affirmations. And it's in shadow. We will definitely talk about this. Beautiful. And again, purple. Knowledge. Okay. She coming through. What do we got? Okay. And then let's see. Okay. Okay. Everything is fine. Let's get one more because this is equivalent to the 10 of... This is the extra card that's in this deck. That's equivalent to the 10 of Swords. So, what do we have here? I'm hearing that song again. Where is the love? So the crown chakra, I keep saying crown, so this really is intended for the third eye, but the crown chakra and the third eye is being receptive and trusting to the divine energy, divine source energy that we are all connected to. I like to call it Great Spirit. Others like to call it God, Allah, Jehovah, whatever, right? Or even the universe, right? And it's all of that, because it's the crown chakra allows us to open up to our spiritual chakras that connect with our spirit team and other divine energies, that source energy, that universal love energy that we all have a connection to. We may experience it differently, but we're all connected to that. And Gaia here is about Mother Earth. And I didn't see in the key words for Empress, but Empress is also like Mother Earth. Mother Earth, the planet we live on, is very nurturing. It gives to us, and we should give back. But unfortunately, some of the higher powers that be have controlled it in a way, right? Where she has been depleted. And I know we can sit here and debate about like the weather, for instance, how unnatural it is, right? But I do want to say this. I remember a few years ago they were talking about, I'm not a news person at all, honestly. I don't really watch news at all. Some people will say that it's bad, you should watch a little bit. But after being in the media, working in the media for so long, anywho. So, but what I'm trying to say here is that imagine if there wasn't a controlled weather, right? And we still were getting crazy storms and hurricanes and just all like wild weather, right? And where I was going back to was about the volcanic eruptions that were happening in the areas that have volcanoes, right? I remember reading something that somebody beautifully wrote, but they were talking about how volcanoes release this energy, right? And it made me think about like anger, right? Like the hot lava boiling up and releasing. And because we're not volcanoes, imagine like sometimes when you don't know how to direct that anger, it starts causing issues and trouble, right? Whether with people or within yourselves, it can just do damage and harm. And like a volcano, it can do that too, right? And it just reminded me how this earth and this planet, though, the way they were talking about it was how it also regenerates itself. And they started talking about how women, when we get our periods, we are cleansing ourselves each month, right? It just has it. We have a natural cycle, right? That is circadians to the earth and to nature. But a lot of times when we put foreign foods, right, and certain chemicals, and then we don't know how to release certain emotions in our body, it gets stuck. And then this is where a lot of times people would say, oh, you PMSing, right? I don't remember the actual terminology for that acronym, but it is an imbalance that's going on. Actually, someone actually finally admitted that there is an actual imbalance that happens. And yeah, it is that time of the month, but don't point it out at us. Right? Help us, because we are going through something that we're trying to actually align and trying to release at the same time. And that's what can be called a burden to some women, or a blessing, because it shows our power. And I don't know, that just wanted to come through. But there is deep knowledge that the Empress holds because of her connection to Mother Earth, right? And this is saying, another kind of cliche, if you may, when someone says like that woman's intuition, men can have intuition too. There are some men that are very intuitive, but it stems from the actual feminine energy. You don't have to be like, when you talk about females and males, that's gender, right? Or that's biology, right? Where we have the private parts that clearly show that when we're born, a rule of thumb, right? And just like any other animal or plant, right? There is a feminine and there is a masculine. But when we're talking about energy, right? We're talking about this archetype of the Empress, of the divine feminine energy that receives, is receptive, is intuitive, is tapping into the creative, as well as chaotic energy that is trying to ground in and plug in, right? So the masculine can do the plugging, if you know what I'm talking about, because that's the energy. The masculine, which we'll be talking about with the Emperor, right, is the King of Kings. And sometimes we can sit here and be like, oh, well, why is it a female, blah, blah, blah. Let's not get into that. Let's think of energy, because that's what the archetype really is. And the crown chakra is also feminine chakra because it's receptive, it's open. And it also holds wisdom, just like the High Priestess, right? I will always find the truth within me. I'm thinking of like even yoni and wombs, like how they are a universe in its own self too. Like these are a lot of things that are probably just being spoken about in a light of spirituality, as well as just a light of hidden wisdom and knowledge that comes from esoteric knowledge, and esoteric meaning hidden information from the masses, right? But it's actually being brought up now and opened. As I said, open, I'm seeing like an old book, but this is kind of just how the times are, where if you connect with that energy, if you resonate with that energy, it's there and it's available for you. It's not so hidden anymore. But if you don't, you don't, right? Because then in the shadow aspect, everyone lies and I don't know what to believe anymore. And a lot of times when we're in our shadow aspect of the Empress, or even like the wounded feminine, opposed to the divine feminine, or sometimes people even say the dark feminine, which isn't necessarily bad, right? But I'm not going to talk about that. But it does relate to the shadow aspects of the feminine energy. And this is all connecting to the Empress energy. And I see here in these cards, right, like the Ace of Cups, she needs to give to herself. Are you giving to yourself? Are you giving love to yourself? Are you showing love to yourself? This is a self-love cup that I always think of, right? This cup is looking like half empty instead of half full, or it's pouring out because it's depleting, right? From self-imposed thoughts, right? Limiting beliefs here. The Eight of Swords clearly speaks on all she has to do, right? She might not be able to take this apart. She might. But if she could just take this off, she could see that literally she can escape out of this. This is not really holding her back. You're in a puddle because this is also tied to your emotions. Like your emotions are wiping you off your feet. It's not grounding you in a way that makes you feel secure and safe. I mean, this whole thing wouldn't feel safe, honestly, right? But a lot of times it's the mental prisons that we hold that keep us stuck in certain situations or narratives that keep playing out certain patterns because we don't believe in ourselves, or we're not looking at the reality of what's actually in front of our eyes. And it can deplete us for sure. Like everything is fine. Is it really, with 10 swords on the side of you and you're looking at Instagram, probably? Social media? Other people's lives, right? No, absolutely not. And it's so dark back here. We do have the power to put the phone down. We do. Is it hypnotizing? Is it very like sucking you in? Absolutely is. But we also have the power to choose not to and figure out a way to move forward. And I think here too with the Five of Pentacles, the Five of Pentacles talks about self-worth. It talks about feeling homeless, right? When home really is inside of you. I wish I could sing the song for you right now, but what is her name from Hiatus Coyote, I think. Nia Palm. She has a song called Home. I love it. The first time I heard that song, I cried. Because home is people, places, and things, but it also starts at inside of you. Home is where the heart is, and your heart is inside of you. Your heart is connected to your spirit and soul, and that is something that we need to feel. If we actually, the total opposite of the crown would be the root chakra. If we feel safe and secure and work on our foundation so it won't look like this, right? It will look like this, bountiful. And if it has to start with the mind, because it always does, then you work on your imagination and connecting with that creative energy, abundant energy, so that way you can have as within, so without. Okay? As within, so without. Now, looking at this 10 of swords, 10 is always an accumulation of something, where it means that you're at the last part, right? And when there are endings, there's an opportunity for new beginnings. So there also is an opportunity. The Empress is sharing with us that she does have knowledge that can tap into finding your sacred space and tapping into the heart, tapping into the emotions that can wash you clean and really make room for more ways to see and believe how abundant you are. The Five of Pentacles, after that, is the Six of Pentacles, where you're now giving and receiving, where things are reciprocal and there's reciprocity happening. And when that happens, you can feel validated, right? You can feel like, oh my God, someone sees me. Oh, I am worthy to have something. You don't want to be relying on other people to give you things so you can feel worthy, but you do want to know that, okay, I do have hope, right? I do have hope that someone else has a heart and someone else can see me, right? I'm not invisible, right? It's kind of reminding me of too. So I want to share, I think it's story time, because it's reminding me of, I've had many jobs, and when I took that leap of faith to leave my corporate job, I thought I had a business lined up with me. I thought that I was going to be working with this creative, what is that called? Um, it's like a design. I was going to be a freelance designer. I don't know. I'm getting lost for words on the tip of my tongue, but it's like, oh, an agency, a design agency that allowed me to connect with different types of corporations. And I'm my own free agent, right? And I have a portfolio. They look at it, and I stay there for a while. I get paid, and then I'm out, right? Um, the way that they handled it, it was like, yeah, all you have to do is this, and now and then you'll get set up, and then you'll start getting offers in no time, right? And I'm like, okay, cool, boom, I got this. Toodles, corporate America. And my parents didn't really receive me well when I told them that I quit my job. Um, to this day, they might not say that they said what they said, but it kind of was like um, they closed the door on me. Like, I don't know, you got to handle this on your own type of thing. It could have been the way that I took it. I think it was a mix of both the way I took it and the way that the words were said, right? But I said, oh, yeah, fine, F it. I'm going to stay at my sister's house, which was 40 minutes away, but it was closer to the city in New York. And when I tried to do that, my sister, I don't know, there was something going on at that place. So a friend of mine at the time, she opened her house to me. And I was like, really? Thank you. So I wind up basically like putting all my, because it was crazy, like to me, the way the signs were happening, I got out of my lease scot-free. Like this lady that worked in the office, she was like, I don't know, she just had a liking to me. And I told her, like, hey, I got this opportunity in California. That was really my dream. I really wish that happened, but it didn't. And I did jump the gun. And I did jump off a 5-story building roof and thought I was going to fly. And, I was being very idealistic, and I was panicking because there was traumas happening. Um, there were things playing out in that job that was triggering me left and right that I wasn't able to process. And just some people were just being downright dirty, but I had no idea how to utilize, like how to handle that situation back then. And I didn't have people that gave me sound advice to handle it either. And honestly, like, it was like, no offense, but one of my parents never was in corporate America, and then the other was handling it with hardly foul coping skills. So it was just like, who do I turn to? And I didn't know who to turn to. So I just did what I did. But in a way, I look back, what would have happened if I'd stayed? I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm here now. And I survived, right? But I'm bringing this story up because when I lived with my friend for a couple of months, there was an opportunity that this guy, I was supposed to freelance with his business. When he proposed something to me, I said, yeah. And I had these shirts at the time that I was trying to sell. I sold some, but I was really trying to market it in a way that people can buy them more and promote it at the same time. He was in charge of like a basketball league or something. So it was like, oh, bam. What he said was that the kids could wear my shirts and it would be a promotion. It wasn't that well thought out when I'm thinking about it now, but in my mind, I wanted to do it a certain way. We were already bumping heads then. For some way, somehow, he weaseled me into being like this assistant for him because he needed me to, I needed money basically. So it made sense. Like, okay, boom, I still have bills. Like, I have a roof over my head, but I still have bills. So it was working for a little bit, but after a certain amount of time, the guy was just like blatantly taking advantage of me. Like, where it's like, oh, you can come over to my house and do some of the work there, right? And to me, I'm like, that's very loose boundaries, but I knew how to carry myself. So it's just like, boom. He didn't try anything. But this was the thing. Why am I doing all the work? And then he's like, oh, I'll be back. I'm just going to be in my room. At first, I'm like, are you going in your room and just sleeping? Come to find out, you're going in your room and smoking and then sleeping. And I didn't smell the smoke, but I knew for a fact he was doing it because I was a heavy smoker at the time. And I understood I saw the pattern. It's easy for me to see the patterns. Sometimes I have to be there a little bit to see more, right? But I saw it and then I called him out. And of course, he didn't like that. And I left and he felt some type of way because I could remember having a conversation and somewhat getting an attitude like, but what you said that you were going to do, you still didn't do. Oh, but I paid you. But like, that's besides the point. What was the goal? We never met the goal, you know? And then you're deducting payments. Like, stuff was just changing too much. And then you want to take credit for stuff? And absolutely not. And I went years with that. I'm going to tell y'all, to be honest, I feel that I finally got out of the tail end of that energy in 2023 and the beginning of this year, honestly, which is part of me was sad to say and felt a little bit ashamed because it's like, damn, why did it take this long? Like, it took like 10 freaking years of this plight of entrepreneurship for me. But I was alone majority of the time. And the role models that I stepped into and connected with, they gave me soul lessons that I had to find out on my own. But like, in their mind, they thought they were doing something when they weren't. They just weren't. You know, it's almost like someone giving you crumbs and telling you that this is 5-star meal. And you know that it's crumbs, but you're so hungry, you're going to take it. And then I'll even say this, you're so desperate, you're going to take it. And I'm going full circle back to the Empress because even though despair can be, I guess, reacted in a way. Because if you understand despair, the feminine energy will recognize that because she's intuitive and she receives the information, right? And she can manipulate it in a way where it can work for her, right? And when I say manipulate, it's creating a opposition or creating a position for her to utilize it for her benefit. But again, like, are you going to keep coming back if you haven't eaten in weeks because you have no crumbs? Some people will, you have no food, right? Some people will take crumbs because it's like, well, that's all you have. But how long are you going to say that's all you have? We all have choices. We can say no, walk around the corner, and then bump into a whole grocery store that somebody gives you a bag for free, right? You have to see the value within yourself first to know that, one, you're divinely connected, just like Gaia, and two, we don't have to keep holding on to this despair. Because if you keep holding on to that despair, you're going to wind up manipulating people in a way that is totally wrong and exploiting their assets or needs, right? Or two, you wind up getting exploited and controlled. And I know through my whole plight or journey, a lot of times I nipped it in the butt because I'm like, okay, I'm being used and this is very lopsided and I don't want to be used in this manner. You know what I mean? Everybody gets used, but it's one thing if you're not told you're getting used, and it's another when people are just downright dirty and mean and messed up. And yeah, knowing your worth, knowing your value. Like, he going to that guy, right? He had me creating designs for him. He had me calling people to what it was calling people for something for his own business, not mine. And again, I was doing all this thinking that I'm going to be able to get my shirts with whatever his connections were. And it just never happened. And I had to choose to walk away. And so many times I had to do that. And I thought that it was a bad thing because it was like, dag, I got taken advantage of, or dag, I just got my time wasted, right? And not really looking like, okay, well, this was a lesson learned. Don't do that again. Don't say yes to that again. Because I was literally signing up to say yes for something naively, right? If that makes sense. And the Empress too can be, she can be a little bit naive in a way, right? She can kind of, um, but not really. She's not a page. She's a queen. You know, she has skills and she's worked those skills, and this is where her abundance comes from. So I take that back. Where are we at here? I think I'm going to get into the love message from the Empress. Okay. Let's see what we have. Before I flip this, I do want to say too, the imbalanced third eye is not trusting in simplicity, like not trusting the signs, not trusting yourself that you can actually find the answers right within you. Take the time to understand and trust what you're feeling and sensing, right? That gut feeling that you're getting that this is wrong, and trusting the fact that you know that you can find something else. Just like when I was saying, you know, if you're so hungry, you're going to take crumbs. Eventually, you're going to just say no, because I trust myself that something else will come along. And then you turn the corner and aha, somebody gives you an actual full bag of fruits or something. You know what I'm saying? So let's get into this love card. Love message from the Empress. Are you exhausting yourself in the process of saving everyone else around you? Interesting, because this is kind of, right? I kind of feel like I was doing that too. Like I was saying yes to serve my needs, but then when I saw certain signs and didn't trust those signs, I was like, well, I'll stay a little bit while they need the help, you know, until the universe was like, skirt. Like it was something where it's like all in my face, and it's like, okay, I need to stand up. I need to trust that what I'm seeing here is a reality, even though numerous people that I worked with, when I would call it out, and I may not call it out in such a diplomatical way or a graceful way, but I called it out, and they would a lot of times be like, no, you're wrong. That's not what's happening. Yes, it is. You know, if I had somebody else there that was seeing everything that was going on and witnessing this, I believe that they would validate that what I'm saying is correct, you know, but I didn't have that. And again, a lot of times, what is that called? Gaslighting, I think. A lot of times when so many times people wind up telling you like, no, you're wrong. You know, the sky is green. I see it. No, you're wrong. You're going to believe that instead of believing yourself. So that's the imbalance. Third eye, you know, and sometimes when you have the vision of sight and other creative spiritual gifts, right, when it's imbalanced, it can come in very harsh or just very chaotically. I know that's not a word, y'all, but you know what I'm saying. And again, Empress, people pleasing. Are you exhausting yourself in the process of saving others? Let's see what else this is about. So this is like, is this in camera? Yeah. I feel like with the love message here, right? Let's get a little bit of advice too. There we go. This is not listening to your intuition. The full moon here is a projection of the light that shined from the sun. No, they shine on their own. What am I talking about? That's why I'm like the sun. But it glows on one side. It projects, right? But when we're talking about psychological projection, how is someone projecting how they perceive on you? Because projection is perceptive. And are you listening to what people are projecting on you? You know, meaning is someone just talking at you and not really looking at empathizing with you, right? I see here that someone here is very quick to do things, right? And quick, I mean like impulsive, to react to someone else's needs, right? But a lot of times they don't look at their own needs. And this messes with the Two of Cups because when you don't look at your own needs, right? When we're looking at this cup, you're going to take and take and take. It takes a real person, a real compassionate person, an empathetic person to actually stop and ask, are you sure you want to give that to me? Or say, no, thank you. And don't even take, because they'll see that that person is depleted. They'll see that, they're not acting from a place of greed or a place of oblivion because they're just in survival mode here. The Knight of Wands can definitely be a survival mode person. It's not in reverse, but how I'm reading this is, you see how this is away from the King of Pentacles. It's not looking at how valuable they have. You can be valuable with resources and not freaking use them. You can be giving and giving and giving to other people, and people will take and take, especially if they see you as this. Oh, they got it. They got it, right? And sometimes everybody plays a part in something. Sometimes they don't know that somebody has it because they're not opening their mouth, and they just keep giving until they're just tired and depleted. And then maybe one person that may be empathetic or aware enough or caring enough to be like, hey, what's going on? Oh, I never would have took if I knew that this was a situation. You know what I mean? Watch how people are projecting things on you. How are you perceiving yourself? And how are others perceiving themselves? But most importantly, know your worth. Know how much you have before you give. Because are you exchanging evenly? Do they even know what's in this cup? You know, I don't know. I can't see. It is a drawing, but you know what I'm saying? It's like this cup could be full and this cup could have a few drops. You don't know. And a lot of times too, it's like, oh, well, they gave me permission to. Okay, but where's your integrity? Especially if you know. It's one thing if you don't know, but it's another if you know. And I think here too, the advice here is to be receptive and intuitive and empathic, to feel in on what your body is telling you, your mind is telling you, and your heart is telling you. So that way you can trust yourself a little bit more, even if the other person, like if the shoe is on the other foot and you don't know what they're going through, but they keep giving and giving and giving. I know somebody that has had really bad health complications. And it really did mess up their mental. It really did. And through knowing them, it definitely showed me how the health field is so disconnected and it's not holistic. Like, it would make sense to actually have people that are diagnosed with like life-threatening disease or any other disease, to have mental health treatment with that, because it affects their mental too. Your physical health is messed up, your mental definitely going to be messed up, right? And I'm just bringing this person up because I've noticed over time how much low worth this person has of themselves, and with that mental health issues, with it not being of clearly it's mental health issues too, that's projecting that. But it's like that person would give and give and give, and it's like, why aren't you giving to yourself though? Like, you are not doing well, but they still want to give and give. And I'm sharing that because a lot of times it's like, are you exhausting yourself in the process of saving other people? And I'm bringing that up too because I noticed that person does not really see their worth. They don't see their value. They may be thinking, I don't know what they're thinking, but maybe they're thinking like, oh, F my life anyway, so I might as well give. Or, or I'm not nothing. Like, I don't know. But I do know that ties to the self-love and the self-worth. And your cup is not full. And you're still in a cycle of unhealthiness, right? You don't see the wealth within you, and it's not helping. So the love message here that is shared really is, by understanding the ways that you project yourself, the ways that you show up with others, especially in partnerships, right? It doesn't matter if it's family, it doesn't matter if it's coworkers, it doesn't matter if it's romantic. You still need to understand your worth, right? So you can even know how to set those boundaries for yourself first and foremost, so you're not just jumping the gun off of any trigger or emotion here, like the moon does. Trust yourself. Trust that you can handle your situation, right? And not be caught up in despair a lot of times. And be more self-aware of your feelings and emotions about you and about others, so that way you're not jumping the gun so much. And oh my God, there's a cardinal. Hello. Yes, that's a very clear message. I'm sorry, y'all. I wish I could show you the camera. I love cardinals and blue jays. Anywho, that's a confirmation. Somebody's ancestors even, and I'm gonna bring that into, like, a lot of times we have these patterns through our ancestors, our bloodline, that we need to be aware of and cut the pattern, because sometimes we just have ancestors that are healing in the ancestral realm with dealing with the unworthiness, right? Working to the bone. Why are we working to the bone? Oh, because this is the way of the world, and this is the only way we're going to get money. It's 2024. Our awareness has grown, as like a lot of times people say like, oh, humans evolve, but I clearly feel that we evolve spiritually first, and through that spiritual bodies, spiritual energies, right? And through Gaia, whatever, I'm sure the earth does its own resonance too. We all are evolving at the same damn time. So like, how would my great 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 grandmother know anything about self-love? They didn't have that mental capacity. The world wasn't really set up like that. The words weren't even spoken about that. Now, maybe there's someone that was connected deeply with the divine and they knew that, right? But was it passed down? So, I don't know. That's a message for someone special, because I saw that bird and I'm just like, oof. But yeah, know your worth. Take time to check in with yourself. We do. This life is crazy and busy, but we do have at least 2 minutes, even 5 minutes in the damn shower to just check in, release what is not serving me today. Affirm it so you can believe it and shift your mindset to knowing that you are worthy, right? And you have valuable assets, skills, right? All of it. And start acting like that. Okay? So let's get into the career message. So we have two. I'm deciding, do I want to show two? Let's do co-founders. Yeah, acceleration program. Okay, so we have co-founders, which is 16, breaks down to 7. I'm looking at this. This looks like a Rubik's Cube, right? So in a way, this message might be about some type of puzzle. I'm going to wait and just pull some more cards, okay? What do we have here? Is this in? Yes, this is in. Oh, yes. Okay, so we have co-founders. It's interesting though that we have this partnership stuff going on here. So this says, being a solar founder works for simple ventures, but complicated or innovative ones benefit from the motivation, labor, and diverse skill sets brought by co-founders. Caution: decide like you would a marriage. Exactly. And it's funny because remember there was marriage. I don't know. I don't understand marriage with Empress, but I do know, yeah, like the archetype. I'm really not so sure about that because she is her own in itself, because she brings, it's not like when you think about co-founders and marriage, even it's not about 50-50. And I think that that is a very old terminology used, but we'll stay in the present day. It's about 100. Are you both committed, showing up for yourself in the way that you know that you have 100% of energy to give to this relationship? You see 100 as one, even, right? It's almost like that saying to 1 + 1 doesn't equal 2, it equals 3. And someone also said 1 + 1 = 1. um, and that's where, to me, it reminds me of 1 × 1. But anyway, you are giving 100% for yourself, right? Because you know that you need 100% to give for yourself to give to others, right? It's just like entrepreneurship. If I am at 10%, how am I going to be able to run my business? I'm going to be able to share my offers and maintain my business in a way that is effective, empowering. Like how? Right? And when you have this, like look at this 2 of Cups. 1 and 1 and this. This is the angel. This is the divine energy that connects and always shows up when the 2 are there. Especially if you are talking about a divine union. A divine union is allowing the divine energy to serve both because it always has enough. But you two have to see and be receptive to know that you are abundant always. And because you know that you're abundant, you are always receiving that divine energy. So it's really the 3. You know what I'm saying? Are you picking up what I'm putting down? You know? So these are some questions that they have if you'd like to ask for my entrepreneurs or wherever you're at in your career, right? So you can really be more self-aware of what's going on, because I think here, I'm not really going to read this. You can look at this. An accelerated program to me is someone that knows and is willing to do the work, right? And you kind of got to do it extra hard. It's almost like how I could have got my degree in, well, I went to this school where they have, it's all about the money. They had your bachelor's degree, but then it's like you have to take their program to get your associate's degree first, so then you can actually get your bachelor's. It was some bull crap, but they would tell you like if you're really good, you can get your associate's degree in 1 year, because a lot of people transferred and went there. It was a lot of BS. I don't want to, let's stick to the, if you understand, you understand. But again, like I was saying, there's like this puzzle. It's always a point where you come through any transition that you have to understand the lessons that you accumulated, right? And you pretty much turn them to the wisdom, and you take that wisdom to your next phase or cycle. And I'm looking at this like the Rubik's Cube here is there's a lot of moving parts to the stop, whatever. There's a lot of moving parts that happen within a business. And again, you have to be not drained. Like you have to be able to set boundaries. If you're trying to give, let me tell you, y'all, I have done a lot of free workshops because I didn't see the value in it. Right. And I'm like, oh, well, this was new. I'm not quite sure how to do this, but it comes a point where, is this a hobby? Like, are you here to make money? Are you going to keep giving your time and your energy and efforts to people that are just here to lick their lips and pop up for free? Or are you actually going to set something up, show your value, right? And tell people, this just fell out. You belong here. So whatever community you're in, or just know that you belong wherever you're at. Are you going to show your value and actually charge people? Because I have learned something about having things for free. People, I mean, yeah, we're in the age of 2020, but like people sometimes, because I've done this too, like, oh, I signed up, totally forget about it because it was free. You're going to remember that you paid $5, $15, $500, right? For something that you really want, because people always are going to pay for what they want because they feel that it's valuable. And now that you see it valuable, I don't know if you're at your startup phase. This is reminding me of somebody that's already has a business and has been going through the trial and error and is ready to grow, a new stage to grow because they see it valuable. They are ready to tap into the financial freedom. They're ready to do what it takes so they can actually have assets and actually pass it down to the next generation if they can. You know what I mean? And yeah, they did the work, but this 10 of cards can only see it as a burden if that's in their mindset. A burden is only what you deem something that you don't see valuable. And if you see it valuable, you'll do the hard work, and sometimes you do extra work. But at the end of the day, when you are being conscious of your energy and time, you'll figure out what it needs. You may need someone else to help you, right? I don't know if you're going to go towards a co-founder, but you may be thinking about someone else coming in and helping you, your family coming in and helping you maybe. 10 of Pentacles also talks about family, but it also talks about passing it down and literally making another start. Because the 10 is the number of completion. And then we're right back at Ace of Wands. So this is interesting. 10, 10, and then this. You're coming into full circle with things, and the Empress is here to tell you that protection. You have been protected on this journey. You have. A lot of the rejections that happened was just a protection for you to move in a different direction. I'm rhyming, y'all. I always laugh because when I'm rhyming, I know some spirit is coming through to me. But you are you did the work. And if you haven't, you see how much work that it takes and you're ready to commit. But I really feel like whoever is watching this and really resonating with this message, you have done a lot of work. And it may have been a lot of internal work, regardless of how much you've done, this energy, whether it's internal or whether it's physical, and you feel like, oh my God, I might have to let go of this business, trust and believe wherever you're at, you have a new golden idea. As soon as you let go, you will be able to receive something else. Because how can you receive something if you're holding something else, right? Let me drink my tea. Like if somebody just was like, hey, you want some? How can I say, okay, let me grab it? I'm holding this. So the Empress is here to tell us, know your worth first and foremost, and know how divinely connected you are with source and spirit. Everyone is. And the more that you build a relationship with divine, the source energy, the more receptive you are, the more connected you are, the more understanding and wisdom you hold. And with the wisdom you hold, the more fertile you are, the more you can create, because creativity is our birthright. So I'm going to leave it here. This is the message. Thank you guys that are on. This is what, the fourth card, right? Thank you for showing up. Thank you guys for being here. I would love for you to just say hello in the comments. That supports me in so many ways, more than you may know. And for others that are just showing up, check out the links below. I have the Queen of Wands Club where we read up more. There's more facts that go into this. You also get, whether you're a free member or a paid member, you get to see the tarot prompts that I have made for you that can help you understand and receive the Empress energy. I also have intuitive practices in the Queen of Wands Club blog that you can practice for yourself with tarot or even other cards. Because after this study, we're really going to get into the juiciness of self-discovery and self-development with using any card deck. Because this card deck, that card deck, and I'm going to show you a few others. If you stick around, I've made them. And right now I'm in the process of making my own oracle deck. So I'd love for you to join me to just understand how to create, understand how to process these emotions to create, and how to share with others, as well as be receptive to the divine energy that flows through all of us, okay? Because anyone that is creating is a channel, a straight channel. So again, if you want to check out the links below, please do. And if you're interested in becoming a VIP member, you also have access to private meetups that we'll be having soon. I'm just waiting and open to receive more people to come on in. And you also will get discounted readings. Now, if this message sparked anything within you, I do want to share that I am open to personal readings right now. So, if you want to come in and get a personal reading, you sure can do that. Or, what else was I going to say? There's something else I was going to say. Or if you just want to stick around with me and study this tarot archetype, Major Arcana energy, I'd love to have you. Again, if you're feeling the vibe, please subscribe. Hit that like button. Subscribe to the Queen of Wands Club. And definitely comment, because I love to see the comments, y'all. Okay? So that's the best way you can support me. Thank you for supporting me if you already are in the Queen of Wands. I'm happy to have you. And the next up is the pick a card reading that is a special message to anyone from the Empress. All right. And yeah, I'll check y'all out next time. Get ready for this Emperor energy. And I'll see you later. Peace.